Hey there, it's Jessie here, and a big fat warm welcome to this big fat warm channel. Thank you very much for being here. Alright guys, how are we doing today? I have a new practice at the moment. If you've been following for a while, maybe you remember that I'm trying to create a new default setting for myself. Because a neuroscientist told me about the brain and all the different functions of the brain. And we have this place in the brain where I'm not the technical person, all right? So this is my understanding of it. Sort of like this place in the brain, and from this place you can go to two other places. You can go over here where you ruminate and reflect on what's happened, or you go into action mode and you just do things and you're pretty present with that, or you're building for the future. And depending on your life experience and your personality, we tend to have a default setting where our brain resides. And if we can get it into this middle bit, that's the flow state, that's present, that's just where there's mind and heart coherence. But my default setting is not there naturally, absolutely not. Oh no, I'm in the rumination camp. I think a lot about things that have happened or things that might happen, and I spend days ruminating on that. And, sometimes I'm in action when I'm doing stuff, when I'm working, I go over here. And what he was encouraging us all to do is to be aware of these three states and to try to cultivate a default setting in the middle, and then intentionally activate these other parts when we've got to do something. Okay, he knows all the names for it, but slip into action mode, or actually I'm gonna reflect on my day, slip into rumination, but intentionally, and reside most of our time in the presence. And he said the best way to practice this is meditation. And so my new practice, and it's not even, I don't sit down and I do that sometimes, but at any moment in the day I can practice presence and stillness of the mind. And on the course we watched this video of this company that's setting up centers all around the world to teach and educate and encourage mind-heart coherence. And I'll try and find the video and link it, because what I really liked about it is the visual, that it was showing everyone's hearts glowing in the mind. And when we're in relationship with other people, or even just in the same room as them, there is a communication of this heart-mind coherence in ourselves and with each other. And I loved the visual, because since I've seen it, I've now got something to imagine as I'm going, all right, heart-mind coherence. And this is what I've figured out about it so far, is our true wisdom is inside the heart. The heart can access much, much more than the mind can. This is limited to an extent, I believe, but the heart is where it's at, as I'm sure you know. So what we need to do, what I'm trying to do by stilling the mind, is giving more space to the heart. And the mind, our brain, is to serve the heart. So we start here, and from here then we go to the mind and use it, and then we can go into the action bit and take action even. But it's a heart-centered approach. And the other reason I think this is quite important, I had a bit of a moment the other day. If anybody's ever taken substances, or the most sensitive folk don't even need to take substances, and you have paranoia that people can hear you or you can hear their thoughts, let me share with you my experience of that, because I had this for many years, a few years ago, before 2020, when I was in India, and I was smoking hashish. So that was sort of putting me into a state of consciousness that I hadn't consciously arrived at, so I had no idea what was going on. And I was just freaking out that it seemed like everybody knew what was happening inside of me. And somehow my experience, my feeling, if I felt good, it had a positive effect. And if I felt bad, it had a negative. And I was freaking out because I didn't have understanding of what was happening, and my ego mind just went, Truman Show. That's the only thing it had to make sense of what was going on. And I was in spaces where this was happening more, and it seemed like more evolved, more heart-centered beings had more sensitivity to this communication. But I tell you what, nobody in all these years came up and had a frank conversation about what was going on. And that is what freaked me out always, because I thought, am I making it all up? And I was too afraid myself to have the frank conversation. So I don't know if there's some unwritten rule that you don't share this information and one has to work it out themselves, and that's the journey. That was always the impression I got. But nobody gave me that memo, so I'm just going to share what I feel, that this was telepathy. And telepathy communication is through the heart, people. And if you want to communicate through the heart, so it's not spoken, but it's felt. And it's through feeling. So you want a still mind for that kind of communication. Oh my gosh. Because what was happening to me is I was, because of the substance being taken to this state much faster and unconsciously on my behalf, and I had so much unresolved stuff in me still, unresolved trauma and belief systems that were very limiting and self-critical and all of this. I was communicating that. I was bringing that to the heart sphere realm. And then everyone would respond differently, which is totally fine. Some people super patient and understanding and compassionate. Some people really impatient. Some people annoyed that I'm bringing the bad juju, which I was. I just had no idea. And I would have loved at any moment somebody to come up to me and say, hey, are you all right? Because whatever's going on inside of you can be felt by all of us. Now, nobody obviously felt that was their responsibility. Fine. But if you are going through that, rest assured that it's just telepathy and it's all good, and we communicate through the heart, and our insecurities and fears that come in and confuse us about it is just unresolved stuff that we have to deal with. So quietening my mind allows me much more to feel my heart. And from there, once I listen, then I can use my mind to go, all right, then we'll do this. I need to be more pragmatic, guys. It's my new thing. You know, I've gone through, okay, I have emotions and I can express them. And now I want to go to, what's this emotion about? What's it telling me? And then from there, using my mind, what is a pragmatic decision I can take so I don't create the same feeling again? I don't know. It's a work in progress. But living from the heart feels really good. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please, if you'd like to support this little old channel, give it a like. Let us know your thoughts down below. Hit subscribe if you're new and you want more of this content. There is a donation link if you would like to support me in that way. And you can also email me for collaboration if you'd like. Otherwise, have a beautiful day and a beautiful life. And we got this.